into action.
Now, we've already talked about censorship and online safety earlier in the programme, but I just want to let everybody know that rest assured, the regulators are at work, and they have been for the last couple of years, but it's starting to build now. So the various regulators in multiple countries absolutely increasingly desperately working to deal with online safety legislation, which is popping up everywhere. And in the UK, of course, there's the Online Safety Act, as everybody knows. In the European Union, there's the Digital Services Act. And there are new online safety acts in Ireland and Australia and Singapore and Sri Lanka, a bunch of other countries. And of course, they want to build this global information space, which is basically conducive to Western narratives and the rules-based international order. So let's just bring a little bit of text on here. Membership of the Global Online Safety Regulators Network is open to regulators with legislated online safety functions who meet criteria on independence from political commercial interference and are committed to upholding human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. So, I mean, everybody should be absolutely comfortable with that, Ben. It goes on. Well, first of all, they've got 3 stages in this. First of all, preparation. That's pretty much at the stage we're at the moment. Then they're going to consolidate this all into one Uber regulator. And then they're going to grow from there. So we've got much more to say on this, but it is just this international network, which of course isn't global at all. It's only Western in its outlook, continues to build. Now we're going to end then on a little bit of health news. First of all, I just wanted to give everybody a bit of a laugh because the UK government has managed to track down 6 horse worming medicines packages which have been seized. This is a package containing horse medicines, was identified by a courier company based at a depot in East Midlands Airport, they said. The package arrived from the USA containing medicine destined for a residential address in Reading. The medicine was detained and subsequently seized by an inspector from the VMD, that's the Veterinary Medicines Directorate. Of course, what are we talking about here? Ivermectin. They don't want it coming into the country under any circumstances. And so on. And just finally on this, the office of Gordon and Sarah Brown, have issued a joint letter to the leaders of World Health Organization member states calling for an urgent agreement on pandemic accord. So they're getting concerned that this deal is not getting done, right? It's just not getting done. There's too much pushback. And so he has written to them in an effort to give them the confidence to move ahead. And frankly, this is the most unbelievable bit of bad grammar and spelling mistakes and no spaces between words. They're clearly desperate to get this out as quickly as possible, not really paying too much attention into how it was put up. But there you go. And Debbie, we're going to end then with a little bit of video about Jenny Harries.
Yeah, well, I promised to show you this. Last week, we featured Professor John Bell at the Select Committee, and we were talking that Select Committee was actually attended by Jenny Harries. Now, let me just paint a very quick picture for you. So, Chris Green, who's the MP for Bolton West, at the previous Health Select Committee, asked Dame Jenny Harries about excess deaths, but she couldn't answer the question. So he tries to ask her again. Let's look at Chris Green asking the question again.
Last week on the Science and Technology Select Committee, you asked a question about the data around excess deaths, and you were quite cautious about supporting the release of that data, but you said you look into it. Have you looked into it? Have you?
I'm reaching for my piece of paper.
Let's listen to the answer.
But I think an important point as well is there are very large data sets on things like open safely as well, where vaccine mortality has been looked at, and it's actually shown protective effects for when it's actually restricted to non-COVID mortality. So if you're looking at people who have not had COVID but have had a vaccine, actually there is no increased risk. So this is stepping right away from some of those risks. And if you just look generally, if you look at countries which have had higher vaccine uptake, they have lower excess all-cause mortality. That's quite generalist. But I think the key point here is we have looked. We don't routinely share. We will look. There is a commercial sensitivity element around this, and we will answer that question very soon in full.
Commercial sensitivity, eh?
Yes, and also the claim that countries that had higher vaccine uptake had lower excess mortality. Lower than what? I've just been looking at the Office for National Statistics mortality statistics over the last few days and looking at how the change in how we measure what is considered excess mortality has managed to make the number of deaths fall consistently below the